Have you ever found yourself at like 2 a.m. whispering, just one more level? Yeah, me too. Well, that powerful pull, it's not just about having fun, it's about brain chemistry. Today, we are cracking open the psychological blueprint of game design. We're going to explore how our brain's reward system can be used for good to create games that actually enrich our lives instead of just, well, getting us hooked.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to expose the invisible war being fought for your attention. Then, we'll get to know the real star of the show, dopamine, the motivational chemical. After that, we'll break down the 5 essential tools of ethical game design, see how they compare to the darker, more manipulative side of things, and finally, we'll wrap up by talking about how to play with a real sense of purpose. All right, let's dive right in. This invisible war, it's not fought with tanks or soldiers. It's fought with code, with algorithms, and with very specific design choices. See, every single time you launch a game, you're stepping onto a battlefield where developers are competing for your single most valuable resource, your attention. Now, this isn't automatically a bad thing, but it's a battle you definitely want to be aware you're in. And really, this war has 2 very different sides. On one side, you have games designed to empower you, to give you that incredible feeling of mastery and pure, genuine joy. But on the other side, you've got what designers call dark patterns. These are little psychological tricks that exploit loopholes in our brains to keep us playing or paying way longer than we actually want to. It's a constant tug of war between true fulfillment and slick manipulation.
So, how do these designs, both the good ones and the bad ones, get such a grip on our brains? To really get it, we need to meet the chemical that's pulling all the strings behind the scenes. It's time to talk about dopamine.
So when I say the word dopamine, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's pleasure, right? That little rush you get from a great meal or a big win in a game. But what if I told you that's only half the story? What if the popular idea of dopamine is actually, well, wrong?
Okay, so here's the big reveal. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical. It's the motivation chemical. Think of it as your brain's own personal hype man shouting, "Hey, go get that. That's worth your time and effort." It's not the feeling of getting the reward. It's the excitement of chasing the reward. It's the engine, not the destination. And that changes everything.
So if dopamine is the engine that drives us, how do ethical game designers tune that engine for a really satisfying ride instead of a burnout? Well, they use a specific set of psychological tools. Let's open up the toolbox and look at 5 of the most important ones. First up is something called the near-miss effect. Just imagine this. You are one hit away from taking down that super tough boss, and then you fail. Ugh. But that feeling of being so close, that's actually your brain getting a little hit of dopamine. A well-designed game uses that. It doesn't just crush you, it kind of whispers, "Hey, you almost had it. Tweak your strategy just a little and you've got this." Suddenly, failure isn't a dead end, it's a learning opportunity. Next, let's talk about intrinsic rewards. This is huge. It's all about the difference between getting good and getting stuff. Is the real satisfaction coming from the deep personal pride of mastering a difficult skill, or is it just the fleeting thrill of collecting a daily login bonus? Ethical games focus on the first one, giving you a sense of accomplishment that sticks with you long after you've turned the game off. You've definitely felt this before. It's called the flow state. It's when you get so completely absorbed in what you're doing, that time just melts away. The secret to flow is what you see here, the Goldilocks zone. The game has to be just right, not so easy that you get bored, and not so hard that you get frustrated and quit. The best games are absolute masters at keeping you right in that sweet spot, sometimes even adjusting the difficulty on the fly to match your skill level.
Oh, this one is so important, respecting your time. A lot of unethical designs create what we call infinite loops. Think of the endless scroll on a social media feed, but inside a game. They are built to have no good stopping point. Ethical design, though, does the exact opposite. It builds in exit ramps. A day-night cycle in a game like Stardew Valley is a perfect example. When the sun goes down, it's a natural, guilt-free moment to stop, put the controller down, and feel good about what you did that day. And finally, let's talk about unpredictability. Our brains absolutely love surprises, which is why random rewards and loot boxes can feel so compelling. Ethical design plays with this, but it adds a crucial safety net. For instance, some games have what's called a pity system. It's a hidden mechanic that guarantees if you have a long string of bad luck, the game will just give you a great reward. You still get the thrill of the surprise, but you're protected from the soul-crushing frustration of just being unlucky over and over again. Okay, so we've seen the tools in the toolbox. Now it's time to draw a very clear line in the sand. Let's look at the huge difference between genuine ethical engagement and the unethical hijacking of our own brain chemistry. This really breaks it down perfectly. Look at the left side. Ethical engagement. What's driving you? It's your own curiosity, your desire to master something. The reward you get is this deep, long-term satisfaction. And when you're done playing, you actually feel energized. Now look at the right. Unethical hijacking. The driver there is FOMO, the fear of missing out. The rewards are just these quick, cheap, short-lived dopamine spikes. And how do you feel when you finally stop? Drained, maybe even a little guilty or regretful. It's a world of difference. Okay, let's make this super concrete. Think about the feeling of finally mastering the tricky, rhythmic jumps in a pure skill game. That feeling of, yes, I did it, the pride, the accomplishment. That is ethical engagement. Now compare that to the anxious pressure you feel to spend real money on a special item that's only available for the next 24 hours. That's not joy, that's FOMO. One builds you up, the other just preys on your anxiety.
So now that we know all this, what do we do with it? How can we use this knowledge to change the way we play, to become more mindful gamers, and to pick the kinds of games that are actually good for us?
You know, it's really easy to paint dopamine as a villain here, but it's not. It is a fundamental part of being human. It's literally the engine of learning and ambition. The best games, the truly great ones, they get this. They don't try to trick our brains. They build incredible playgrounds for them. They create these carefully structured worlds where we can learn, grow, and feel a real, earned sense of achievement.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. The next time you're deep in a game and you feel that powerful pull to keep going, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, am I feeling driven by a genuine desire to get better and explore, or am I just afraid of missing out on something? Knowing the difference, that's the first step to building a healthier and honestly, a much more rewarding relationship with the games we all love to play.